Hey, good morning, everybody. It's DJ. So today we have, as you can see, I've got my weeding wear on. So today we have a gardening class. Shouldn't be too long of a class, but a good one. So I'm going to show you what's happened. So Melanie planted, I kind of weeded everything, and then Melanie planted about, I think, 75 to 80 plants in our front yard. Let me show you. So here's what it looks like. But if you can see, again, there's a lot of grass. A lot of grass. And so in order for these plants to do well, we've got to make sure that we weed. We got a lot of rain, and the rain is definitely what it does is it'll make things grow a lot faster. And so, it's going to make this grass come up a lot faster. So what I've done is I've watered yesterday, so the soil should be soft, and what we're going to do is weed in between the plants. So that's what the class is today. Is just, everything's planted, but in order for everything to become prosperous, come here, that's the reason it became so beautiful the way it is because it actually got weeded around. So I'm going to show you kind of how I go about it, and I'll be back in just a moment to show you that, but I need to pause it real fast, and I'll be back lickety-split. Okay, and here I am. So, I'm gonna just do this tiny part of the garden bed right now, and I will show you a picture of once we're finished with everything. But I'm just gonna do this and kind of show you how you kind of go around, because you need to make sure that you don't pull up any plants that we intentionally planted, and then just to make sure that we just get rid of the grasses. And so I have my personal protective equipment, my gloves. Like I said, since I watered yesterday, the soil should still be soft, so things should come up pretty easily. Let's do a test run on that real fast right now. I'll take this and just see how easily it comes up, and yeah. And we got the roots and everything, and that's what we want. Now we're just gonna start a pile of stuff here. But what I really want to focus on is, see, we've got this plant here, I've got this plant here, this one here, and I want to make sure that I don't hurt them. And this one's already got a little flower budding on it. But this grass, what it wants to do is it wants to survive, and it's my job to make sure that it doesn't, because it's not native and it's invasive. And it, when I first moved here, this whole thing was all grass, and we had to retill the whole thing. So right now what we're gonna do is just kind of tear up as much as we can, and this is pretty deep rooted. But as long as we get it done, and it's good for you around the house, like, just to do, like, if you want to start a garden or anything like that, what's really good is just a little bit at a time. You don't need to do it all at once. A lot of the time, people will take on a project and think, oh, it's, I'm just going to get it done in a day. And sometimes it takes a lot longer than that. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to do what we can while we can. And if you get tired and you don't feel like doing anymore, then, it's a good time to quit. But if you water and you get everything the way it should be, then, like I said, things should come up pretty easily. But this stuff, it does have lots of roots down in it. And, just the little by little, you'll see the difference in how everything looks. And one thing about gardening is it's really good, like, actually, just the smell of soil. It has been shown that that's very... Okay, so this is where we need to be careful, because this is very close to the plant, and I don't want to rip up any of the plant. I just want the grass. And this grass is like growing right in the same spot as the plant. Like I said, they compete. And yeah, this is why we want to get it out of there. And make sure that we don't hurt the plant that we planted on purpose. And then once I'm done, I'm pretty sure what I'm gonna do is water in again. So, because right now he's not looking very happy. He's like, hey, what are you doing to me here? But the smell, like I said, the smell of soil though, it's supposed to be very good just in general for kind of well-being. Because humans, for the longest time, I mean, we're the ones who began gardens. You know, it's kind of it's part of the reason that we're separated from other animals is, you know, animals graze and things like that, but they don't create. It's not part of their mindset. It is part of ours and has been. And it's why we've survived and got to where we are. And so, you know, the smell is very satisfying. And good for you. Alright. We got a little bit here. Now, I like to try to get big chunks of stuff up. The more you can get at a time, well, seemingly the faster everything will go. But again, these are really deep rooted, some of them. Big piece of wood there. On that one I didn't get very well, so I gotta dig down again, make sure I get all of it up. And this soil is it's got kind of a clay to it. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to get things up. You know what? I think I'm gonna pause it real fast and I'm gonna go get myself a trowel. It'll make this a little bit easier than doing it by hand. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So I've got my trowel, and I've also got my, who knows the name of this? My Ori Ori. That's right. Oh yeah, things come up a bit faster with this. But again, I've got another little plant here, and it is surrounded by grass. So I want to be very careful not to dig up the plant and only to get the grass that's trying to take over its space. Man, grass is really in there. I'm gonna kind of just dig around it as much as possible for now. That's a weed. Yeah, so this one, it's got lots of grass around it. And poor little plant's being suffocated. They're so close together. So close together. But there we go. Now I can get just under here. There we go. Give this little plant some breathing room. Poor thing. And again, you want to be very gentle. It's good practice. You know, no harm. And I hurt it a little, I can see already. But once all this is gone, these plants can start to grow up big and develop themselves into what they want to be. Just like we want to be. But when you have things around you that are getting in your way, sometimes you need a little help. You know? So let's be friends to our plants. Man, right in. It's too close for me to even tell. I really don't want to hurt this plant. There we go. There's two of them that have been freed. We're just gonna go up to the trellis there. It isn't very far away. Now this one, see, this plant is a lot more root bound. These are a little more delicate. And so we need to be delicate with them. With this, I can easily recognize what is grass and what is not plant. So it all comes up a lot more easily. And it's a lot easier to save. And the goal of this is to just have something that you can be proud of throughout the year. You know, because over on the side yard, like, I have kids come by, because there's a school right over here. And the kids come by, and they sing, and they talk to the plants. Sometimes they pick a couple of the flowers. Their teachers kind of scold them a little bit. It's not polite to pick other people's flowers, which is true. You shouldn't do it, but they're kids, and they just see something pretty, and I'm glad that they enjoy it. Alright, now we're moving. I think, you know, for our second class today, what would be good is how to identify a weed as opposed to a plant. Because some weeds can actually be very beautiful. And there are some people who have actually taken to just planting weeds as long as they're beautiful. Because though they overtake everything, they can still be very beautiful. You know, it's more, you just don't want it to get into your neighbor's yard. They might not want weed. And if some of the pollen from any of these plants that gets over to any place, then it gets onto somebody else's property and it starts to go crazy over there. So unless maybe you talk to your neighbor and say, hey, do you want a weed garden like mine? It's best to keep it under control as much as possible. And we did this last year as well, is what Melanie's idea is, and I think it's a good idea, is that you plant a bunch of plants. And what eventually happens is instead of the weeds taking over the garden, the plants take over the garden. It like suffocates them out. So then you have an abundance of beautiful plants, and it makes the grass, less likely to be able to grow over it. But with the rain that we had for a little while there, this grass really started to pop up. We're definitely making some progress here. And again, when you just want to dig down to the root, and you'll feel it, and it'll just kind of pop up just like that. And you want those roots. That's what we want. Alright, we're getting close to the trellis, which is good. Means you don't have to listen to me anymore. But again, there's some very delicate plants here. And the grass grows like right next to it. Kind of crazy, like it's trying to steal its water supply or something. But I need to separate out the fronds of the plant from the grass. I have to be very gentle about it. These are still babies. They're not well established yet. There we go. I can use the trowel to get the rest of this one. Again, I really don't want to dig up that plant. Poor thing. Because we put a lot of work into it, and when you put a lot of work into something, you want to see it succeed. And the only way you can see it succeed is if you manage it, and manage it well. And this, I don't know if I'm going to leave that and have Melanie check it out later, because I'm not sure if that's something she planted, or if it's a weed. I don't know all of my weeds yet. It's a learning process. Grasses I can identify pretty easily because grass is kind of obvious. But then there are some weeds that I'm not sure that they look a lot like plants. Alright. I thought this was going to be a lot softer because the weather actually has dropped, which is nice. And on today's Sunday, last Friday, we had our vaccination clinic. And lucky for us, that day the weather dropped quite a bit. So things have been nice and cool. Alright. Got a few more over here. You might not be able to see me, but you can hear me. Like I said, I want to do a thorough job. Make sure I get as much of this out of here as possible. One thing that y'all can help me with when we get back is the greenhouse needs a lot of work. I saw it, and I'll mention this in another class, but I saw it during our vaccination clinic, and all the plants are dead that we planted, which isn't surprising. One of them kind of survived, which is amazing, but the rest of them have died, and so we need to like restart that. And so this is kind of the same process, you know, that we would do there as well. Just going around taking up all the stuff that isn't good anymore, tossing it out. I wish we had a green waste bin at program, but we don't. But still, the dump needs stuff to fertilize or compost kind of down. It might actually help where the dump is a little bit, so it's not just garbage, but you get a little bit of green waste in there as well. Alright, so we're almost done, and it's looking much better. It kind of looked worse. Well, I guess it could have if I had accidentally dug up all the plants. The rocks in the soil. Yeah, I'm just gonna get down in there. Pop them up. Dig them out. Not sure about a lot of these. What I am sure of is the grasses. Another big chunk there. Another chunk there. Flying. Maybe not flying. But I'm not sure if this is a plant or a weed. So I'm gonna leave it be. I'll ask Melanie about it. That one looks like a plant. This is definitely a weed. It might be easier by hand. Yep. That came up pretty good. I know you still up, buddy. I may have accidentally hurt one. And that is what we definitely don't want. We don't want to hurt it. Love to all the living things, except the weeds. But if any of you ever want, like, some gardening done or something like that around your house, some planting done, I mean, it costs money, but, you know, Melanie has done projects before for people that were just like a little space renovated, and she would find the best plants to plant there, and she would help find people to help get the soil done. It wouldn't be me. I'm not a professional. I'm an amateur, but I'm getting better day by day. Or weed by weed. But we're pretty much to our stopping point. So, take my gloves off. And let y'all know that I miss y'all. But look, it looks a bit better. Still got a lot of work to do. And I definitely don't want you to have to watch all of that. But I miss you. Congratulations for those that have got vaccinated and have appointments to get vaccinated. And I hope we get back to program very soon. I will keep you updated with everything that I know. But I miss you all. And I hope to see you soon. All right. Bye.